Okay, go.
Hi everyone, I am here at True Yoga in Las Vegas. Finally we're breaking down Kapotasana at a request that's much delayed. Kelly is going to help me today. I'm excited because I can actually show kind of a hands-on approach as opposed to just me doing it. But before I break it down, I want to actually just give a little preface to the asana itself. I've practiced 18 years. I've seen a lot of people come and go from this practice, and a lot of times what happens is they hit this wall and they tell the practice to go kick rocks, right? Kapo is one of those poses that makes people do that because they blame the pose, it's dangerous, it's painful, but the reality is that the pose is demanding a lot on a very subconscious level. The difference between, say, contortion and yoga is that contortion is joints, ligaments, tendons, specific. Yoga is all about opening the connective tissue, and what's in our connective tissue is holographic imprints, i.e. your subconscious bullshit. So as you start to soften it and open it, you'll have a lot of stuff come out. Most people deal with anxiety, they can't breathe, or grief, they start crying. Things will happen in the pose, and so again, they blame the pose, they blame the practice, and really it's just their own inability to deal with what they're confronting. So I preface you with that so that you know that if you're severely uncomfortable, you are right where you're supposed to be. And to encourage you to just breathe through it, because it's not real, it's old, you know, it's not present day stuff, it's old stuff, just breathe through it. So I'm going to help Kelly. Kelly struggles a little with Kapo, so we're going to break it down. I'll do the full pose at the end, but I'm going to kind of go over some of the mechanics with her. So the first thing that I teach my students, and this is all back bends, is that whatever's touching the ground, that's your root. In this position, it would be your shins and the tops of your feet. If you're not leveraging down, you're not going to find lift, okay? So it's really important that if you're trying to go for space in your spine, that you find that from the root. So pushing down is essential and working those legs. I mean, back bends are two things. They're heart openers and they work your legs. It's really not that complicated. The mind tells you it is, but as long as we're working our legs, we can open our heart. So pushing down through the legs is the first part. The second thing is that a lot of times people, they come into it and they lean into it, they go back and they wonder why they can't actually get their heels. But the thing is, you actually have to be able to bend from here. We're working the thoracic up. As you go deeper into the Ashtanga practice, you'll find that the thoracic is just the beginning, and then you work up towards here when you get into deeper back bends. So what I have students do is I actually, if I can, I kind of ground them as much as possible, and then I teach them, take their hands together. And there's two parts to this before they go back. The first part is I want you to take your hands all the way up to the ceiling, Kelly, and really, really reach for the ceiling as though there's like $1 million up there, because the first thing I want them to feel is the space in between the ribs, okay? All of this is bound 9 times out of 10 by tight connective tissue. And this is what we are hacking away at, okay? It's not so much a mobility issue in the spine as much as it's bound connective tissue. So keep that in mind. If you feel a burning sensation, again, you're right where you're supposed to be. That's connective tissue. So I'm having her feel the length here. Now I want you to take your thumbs to your heart, Kelly. And I want you to push your sternum into your thumbs. At the same time, see how she's kind of tensing here, right? So we want her to actually start opening the shoulder head, right? So she pushes her thumbs into her heart, allowing this part here to open. Because again, people are going to try and protect. Nobody wants to open this, okay? So that's the second part. Lifting and then pushing through the sternum to get more lift. You're going to feel like you're falling forward, but that's where you want to be, okay? You're not going backwards, you're going up, okay? Keep that in mind. We're going up, not backwards. All right, now push a little harder with your thumbs, not your shoulders, your thumbs. And now take your arms up again. Good. And now from here, again, I'm going to push her forward a little bit. I really want her to feel. Use your legs, strong legs. If you ever feel like you're losing length in the pose, engage your legs. You'll be surprised. And then if you have someone who can help you, relax for me. This is where you're gonna find people don't want to give. They just don't want to give, right? This is a little intense. But this, if you have a teacher who can help you, this is so good because now they can't bend improperly and they have to lift. You can leverage them into the thoracic to get that bend that they need. And see, right now Kelly's really holding on. She doesn't want to give up control. That's okay. Eventually she'll learn. And see, we take her up. Not back. We take her up. It was actually Sharad, it was the boss. I was watching him one day. And I was like, oh, whew, oh, he went up. He went out like a chicken. Oh, okay, that looks a lot friendlier. So, and I don't really teach to come to the ground and walk it in because it's hard to not disengage the lift. Guys are a little safer, big men who just have a lot of density, okay. But if there's any chance that they could hurt their low back, I'm not a fan of it. So, I'm all about maintaining lift. So I'll demo from start to finish. Maybe talk through it, I don't know. Opening here, pushing here. And then I teach people not to go for it until they can see their feet. Reach for the heels and lower down. You're losing lift, engage the legs. The legs will always help you lift. Ultimately, the elbows come together. And they're not doing it today, but that's okay. After your 5 breaths, push into V. And this is a good place to practice the legs. You can engage them and come out. And that's Kapotasana. I'm always available for lots of messages and comments and whatever else you want to throw at me. So anyway, Kelly, I appreciate it. Stephanie, my camera woman, and namaste.